Hey there! So if you are a parent of school-age kids, you are probably by now in full swing with school and activities, sports clubs, all that comes with a school year. So I think it's a good time to check in with yourself and with your kid about their schedule and make sure that it is as balanced as it can be. Now we know that having a structured schedule in the school year is super important. Having a routine that kids can trust in, rely on, and be consistent with is what allows them to thrive. We also know that some of the after-school activities are so crucial to their development. For example, sports allows them a physical outlet, physical exercise, and other types of clubs and activities allow them, as well as sports, allows them a social outlet, time for social development, and an opportunity to grow in that way. We also know that after-school activities allows them to develop a sense of competency and mastery, which is really important. And for older kids, it allows them to stay busy during those prime times where high-risk behaviors can happen after school until mom and dad get home. But what happens with overscheduling, or when overscheduling happens? What we know can happen when that's the case is it can actually interfere with competency and mastery. If a kid is spread too thin, it's hard for them to get really good at one or two things. We also know that just like us, when we're overbooked, we can feel overwhelmed, overtired, emotional, cranky, irritable. So those are signs sometimes that a kid is too booked. So how much is too much? Now this question varies from kid to kid because your kid is different than other kids and has a different tolerance for how much they can handle. So there are a few questions that I think are important to ask yourself and or your kid to figure out if they are in that sweet spot or if they are venturing into that overbooked place. Question number 1, do they have time for homework? Are they able to, in a good amount of time, get the homework done that needs to be done for that night? Question number 2, can they get a full night's sleep? Now I know there are different schools of thought about how much sleep is enough, but can your kid get roughly 8 to 10 hours of sleep a night with the schedule that they have? Question number 3, can your kid still participate in family activities? Now for middle school and high schoolers, they may not let on to this, but they really, really need you during this time of their life. They need those family rituals and activities that allow them to stay connected and feel grounded. So we want to still make sure that we're providing an opportunity for those to still happen, even if they're on the weekends. The last question, do your kids feel like they have a social life with their schedule? Now, as we talked about, some of the activities that they can get involved in allow for that, but do they feel so booked that they don't have time to engage with their friends in a social or kind of relaxed manner? That's super important. One of the developmental tasks in middle school and high school is a development of their identity and formation of that. So we want to make sure that we're creating time for them to have downtime to connect with others and to be creative and self-discover. So a few questions to check in, and if the answer to any of those is no, then your kid may be a little bit too booked. So you can always pare down some of those activities, or maybe check in with them about which ones they would really like to continue and create a schedule that works for them in a really balanced way. All right, this is Marcella with Flourish Counseling and Coaching. I'll see you next week.